What is number one? Seminiferous tubule. Seminiferous tubules opens into the second one. Seminiferous tubules opens into vasa efferentia. Okay, then vasa efferentia opens into, seminiferous tubules opens into retitestis. Sequence wise, second one will come retitestis. Yes, retitestis opens into vasa efferentia. Number 3, vasa efferentia. Okay, next, number 4, it opens into the epididymis. We said there are 3. Caput epididymis. Vasa efferentia opens into caput epididymis. Then middle one, carpus epididymis. Next, number 6, that last one, cauda epididymis. Okay, so cauda epididymis opens into vas deferens. Vas deferens. Okay, so this vas deferens will come out from the testis. This vas deferens itself is coming out from the testis. Actually, when you see originally, you can't see like this. You cannot see the total picture like this. Then if you see the scrotal sac, this is the scrotal sac. That one side I am showing, this is the penis. Now I am showing only the scrotal sac with our testis. So that is like this. This is the testis. Okay, so in the testis, the remaining everything is inside itself, isn't it? So only you can see like this. Caput, carpus, cauda, epididymis will come out as vas deferens. Through what? Inguinal canal. So everything, whatever we said, we shown, everything is inside itself. Like the things we said about seminiferous tubules, interlobular septa, seminiferous tubules, and that all they get open into the retitestis, all are inside itself. Retitestis, and retitestis opening into the vasa efferentia, that opens into the caput, carpus, cauda. So these kind of confusing diagrams you'll find over. Okay, so that is expanded like this. Individually we are taken. Okay, so that means a clear picture, an individual diagram we are taken. So let me see all the parts of this area once again. So what is the outermost layer? Tunica parietalis, with that tunica vaginalis parietalis. Below that, what can be seen over? Tunica vaginalis visceralis. In between them, the coelomic space is present. What next? What next? Tunica albuginea. Okay, tunica albuginea. Next, that they're having interlobular septa. Interlobular septa containing seminiferous tubules. That these are all the seminiferous tubules. Okay, so seminiferous tubules opens into retitestis. Retitestis opens into vasa efferentia. Then a caput epididymis, carpus epididymis, cauda epididymis, then vas deferens. Okay, so all confusion is here itself, and a connective tissue layer which surrounds the retitestis, we said it as mediastinum testis. Okay, so if you understand this well, that will be helpful for that facilitators to go into the text to understand about the testis. Okay, so then I'm showing on the scrotal sac exclusive here. This is a scrotal sac. In that, the testis, I'm drawing the testis. So this time we are making the position of the testis. As I said to you, during embryonic development, testis is there in abdomen. Then just before the birth, testis descends into the scrotal sac. Then this is the scrotal sac. This is the scrotum or scrotal sac, and this is testis through a canal. What is the canal? Inguinal canal. Inguinal canal. Okay, so through a canal we say inguinal canal, and from here itself we need to show that the epididymis, which is coming out in the form of vas deferens through inguinal canal only. That vas deferens is coming. Testis held in position in the scrotal sac with the help of gubernaculum. Testis held in position that in the scrotal sac with the help of gubernaculum. So I'm trying to type that gubernaculum. Okay. That's it. That is gubernaculum. So I have to mark it, I think. Okay. So this one, gubernaculum. Okay. Next, the testis is having connection with the abdomen. That still it is having connection with the abdomen. The connection of the testis with the abdomen is with the help of spermatic cord. They're having connection with the help of spermatic cord. So that only game here that many words, many terms are there, that every term you need to visualize. If you can visualize, you will be able to answer them easily. That's why I'm giving many diagrams, various diagrams to show highlighting that particular portion itself. Okay, spermatic cord. So what is present in the spermatic cord? That what is required for them, arteries, veins, that means blood supply required or not. So that's why here you can see that in the spermatic cord, artery is present, which supplies the blood, and veins are present, which collects the blood, artery, vein, and we need nerve fibers. So the spermatic cord embedded in the connective tissue of abdomen that contain arteries, veins, lymph vessels, and nerve fiber. So this is the spermatic cord. So in the spermatic cord itself, you'll find arteries, veins, nerve fibers, likewise. Okay, so that let me write here. Arteries are present, veins are present, and lymph vessels are present, and nerve fibers are present. The various things are present here. Nerve fibers are present. Okay, so this is the exclusively will end the testis. Okay, so by the continuation that before we continue, let me show you. After that, vast difference, where it goes, how it forms ejaculatory duct, you'll see later. Then first of all, let me explain the things we learned here. That seminiferous tubule, ready testis, vas efferentia, caput corpus cauda, epididymis, vast difference. Here only germinal epithelium lining a seminiferous tubule that previously we learned. And in between them, Serratulli cells, in between the seminiferous tubules in the connective tissue, interstitial cells or Leydig cells are present. That all we are seeing. Now, let us see how it was given in the text. So let me check for you that how it. So whatever we learn till the time, let us check in the text. The male reproductive system. The male reproductive system or male genital system consists of number of sex organs that are a part of the human reproductive process. The sex organs which are located in the pelvic region include a pair of testes, singular testes, along with the accessory ducts, glands, and external genitalia. Till the time we are seeing about the testes. Okay, so just about the testes we are seeing. Then testes. The testes are a pair of oval, pinkish male primary sex organ suspended outside the abdominal cavity. Suspended outside the abdominal cavity within a pouch called scrotum. Within a pouch said to be scrotum. The scrotum helps in maintaining the scrotum helps in maintaining the low temperature of the testes. That's what we said now. 2 to 2.5 degrees centigrade lower than the normal internal body temperature. You just understand. If I underline means that came already earlier in examination. The internal 2 to 2.5 degrees centigrade lower than the normal internal body temperature, which is necessary for spermatogenesis. The cavity of the scrotal sac is connected to the abdominal cavity through inguinal canal. Through inguinal canal. The testis is held in position in the scrotum by gubernaculum. As I shown to you now itself, the testis is connected to the scrotum with the help of gubernaculum. This is gubernaculum. Okay, the fibrous cord that connects the testes with the bottom of the scrotum is said to be gubernaculum. A spermatic cord formed by the vas deferens, nerves, blood vessels, and other tissues runs from the abdominal wall. That is, I have to show that spermatic cord even. This is a spermatic cord, which contain artery, vein, blood vessel, nerve fibers. That don't consider that vas deferens. So, a spermatic cord formed by the nerves, blood vessels, and other tissues run from the abdominal wall down to each testicle through the inguinal canal. So, where is the exit? That exit of the scrotum is inguinal canal, from which it is descended into the scrotum during just before the birth, and also having connection with the abdomen with the help of the spermatic cord only. Okay, then let's continue. Let's continue. Each testis is enclosed by a fibrous envelope, the tunica albuginea, which extends inward to form the septa that partition the testis into lobules. So there are about 250 testicular lobules in each testis. So just I'll show you how I explain. This is the tunica albuginea, and their interlobular septa are present. The 200 to 250 testicular lobules are formed here. Each contain 1 to 3 highly coiled seminiferous tubules. So what I am drawing, that is seminiferous tubules. Each contain highly coiled seminiferous tubules. Let me go. Okay, a pouch of serous membrane called tunica vaginalis covers the testes. That means, as I said to you, to avoid the confusion, I said already, this is tunica albuginea, and tunica albuginea covered by tunica vaginalis. I said it as tunica vaginalis is having two layers, tunica vaginalis parietalis, tunica vaginalis visceralis. I made it two. That means that makes the coelomic space, that coelomic fluid that I explained to you. Okay, next, going inner side. Each seminiferous tubule is lined by germinal epithelium. You see here, this is the area where you can see the transverse section of the seminiferous tubule. There you can see the round of the circle where I circle, that is seminiferous tubule. Okay, so that seminiferous tubule is having spermatogonial mother cells. That is having spermatogonial mother cell. What they do? They produce the sperms, and it also bear nourishing cells called Sertoli cells. In between them, we'll find Sertoli cells here. That next, what next? That we need to have the interstitial cells also. So in between the seminiferous tubules in the connective tissue, we'll find interstitial cells. Here it is shown, interstitial or Leydig cells. Okay. So outside the this is seminiferous tubule. Outside the seminiferous tubule, they are shown. Okay. And then what spermatogonial cells do? Spermatogonial cells are sperm mother cells, also bear nourishing cells called Sertoli cell. The spermatogonia produce primary spermatocytes, which undergo meiotic division, leading to the formation of spermatids, which form spermatozoa. How that is there in front? We are going for that. That till the time the process of production of sperms is called spermatogenesis. You just understand like that. That we have the detailed explanation after this. Then, what is the function of Sertoli cells? Sertoli cells provide nutrition to the spermatozoa during the production, during puberty. That after puberty, when the spermatozoa are started producing, that Sertoli cells provide nutrition to the developing spermatozoa. We see. Okay. Then inhibin, it also produces a hormone called inhibin, which inhibit the secretion of FSH. Then FSH is there for the production of sperm. So how we do correlate this? Simple. That after the birth, the boy, that till he reached to the age of puberty, he is not able to produce the sperms. Isn't it? No spermatogenesis till the age of puberty. Okay, that may be, imagine that maybe 0 to 12 years or 14 years, he say, In the mean period of time, what is the function of Sertoli cell? They produce inhibin that inhibits the secretion of FSH, that inhibits the production of sperms. After at the age of puberty, then it starts that the Sertoli cells, instead of inhibin production, they makes when they stop the inhibin, automatically FSH secretion will come, and FSH makes the production of sperms, and Sertoli cell starts the nourishment. They start giving nourishment to the sperm. So just you try to understand this. So till the age of puberty, what is the function of Sertoli cell? They secrete a hormone called inhibin. What inhibin do? Inhibits the production of sperms. After the age of puberty, that allows the production of sperms. That means inhibin production will be stopped, and then the FSH starts secreting. That till the time inhibin is inhibited the FSH, and FSH when it is started, the spermatogenesis is started. Automatically, the production of sperms and Sertoli cells then starts providing nourishment to the developing sperm. And the interstitial of Leydig cells we discussed in the earlier chapter, that chemical control and coordination, that they are going to produce the androgens. The most important androgen is testosterone. The testosterone controls the development of the secondary sexual character and spermatogenesis. The other immunological competent cells are also present here. The seminiferous tubules opens into vasa efferentia. Seminiferous tubules opens into vasa efferentia through the retitestes. Retitestis. What is retitestis? A network of tubules in the testis carrying spermatozoa from the seminiferous tubules to vasa efferentia. Then, need to understand about the epididymis. Vasa efferentia leave the testes and open to a narrow, tightly coiled tube called epididymis, located along the posterior surface of the each testis. The epididymis provides a storage space for the sperms and gives the sperms time to mature. Okay, so you just please take this. We have to discuss about this. It is differentiated into three regions: caput, carpus, cauda. Okay, the caput epididymis receives spermatozoa via vasa efferentia of the mediastinum testis. What is mediastinum testis? Mass of connective tissue at the back of the testis that encloses the retitestis is said to be mediastinum testis. That means with the diagrams which I shown to you earlier, with the diagrams only we can understand everything. So vasa differentia, plural, vas differens, singular. The vas differens or ductus differens is a long, narrow, muscular tube. The mucosa of the ductus differens consists of pseudostratified columnar epithelium and lamina propria, areolar connective tissue. So from where it starts from the tail of the epididymis. Which epididymis? Cauda epididymis. From the cauda epididymis passes through the inguinal canal that we show now, that inguinal canal, and vas deferens will come out into the abdomen and loops over the urinary bladder. That I will show you in the diagram. Loops over the urinary bladder. Then it receives the duct from the seminal vesicle. The vas deferens and the duct of the seminal vesicle unite to form a short ejaculatory duct. A short ejaculatory duct or ductus ejaculatorius. The two ejaculatory ducts carrying spermatozoa and the fluid secreted by the seminal vesicle. What is seminal vesicle will come later. Converge in the center of the prostate and open into the urethra. Just focus on the ducts here. Okay, so urethra, which transport the sperms to outside. I'll show you what is seminal vesicle, what is prostate gland. I'll show you all after them, one after another. So finally, this is the sequence: seminiferous tubule, retitestis, vasa efferentia, that caput, carpus, cauda, epididymis, vas deferens. Then it transforms from here onwards. We need to see in the diagram: ejaculatory duct, then urethra, and the sperms will be injected into the vagina of female. This is the sequence. The sequence we got last year in NEET 2019. So let us see what is urethra. Once after seeing urethra, we'll go there, we'll go into the diagram and we'll watch all of the things. In males, the urethra is a shade common terminal duct of the reproductive and urinary system. The urethra originates from the neck of the urinary bladder and extends to the penis to the external opening called urethral meatus. Opening is called urethral meatus. Urethra provides an exit for urine and semen during ejaculation. So, whom we need to locate, where we get stopped, vas deferens came out, we said. Okay, so for that, let us take the diagram. Just try to observe the diagram here. So the diagram is clear, I think, for you. So I'll make you to follow the diagram. Thin line we need to take. So here it is. This is the cap circle. I think, can you see that? Need to change the color. Yeah. Caput epididymis, carpus cauda. Then vas deferens is coming out. So this is the vas deferens. So inner we have seen clearly. So now let's follow the vas deferens. Just let's follow the vas deferens. For that, I'm going a little bit deeper. 200% is sufficient for us. Yeah. So straight away, the text diagram it is that what they said, vas deferens loops around the ureter, is that of urinary bladder that was shown here. And let us try to locate the glands first of all, seminal vesicles. So what color we need to take to show clearly? Blue. This is seminal vesicle. Okay. Then below that we'll find one more gland. Prostate gland is there. Then below that we'll see the bulbourethral gland. See that location. Seminal vesicle, prostate gland, and bulbourethral gland. Okay. So you can see the seminal vesicle clearly here. See the seminal vesicle. Just go through my angle. This is the prostate, and below that bulbourethral gland is present. Okay, and our vas deferens is clearly visible there, which makes loops around the ureters. Okay, next, not here, not here. We have another diagram to see the clearly all these threads. This is the diagram. Okay, so now let's get back again. This is seminal vesicle, and where is our vas deferens is traveling here. Just follow me. Little complicated. That's why I'm taking time. So you just watch the ejaculatory duct. Ejaculatory duct is the combination of the seminal vesicle, vas deferens plus vas deferens joins with the ducts of seminal vesicle. Okay, ducts of seminal vesicle. What do you call it as? Ejaculatory duct. The duct of seminal vesicle. Then we call it as ejaculatory duct. See the labeling. Okay, so you need to follow them first of all. So for that, I'm showing colors here. So first of all, let me show you. This is the blue one. I'm drawing vas deferens. Okay, then for your watching, this is the red one, that is seminal vesicle. So both unite and form ejaculatory duct. Okay, next, locate the urinary bladder, yellow one. This is urinary bladder. Okay, showing clearly. Urinary bladder. From the urinary bladder, a duct came, isn't it? A duct came from the urinary bladder. This one. So, ejaculatory duct with the duct of urinary bladder is now can be considered as urethra. After all, collecting from prostate gland, from bulbourethral gland, now it is called urethra. Okay. So, we'll follow our sequence. Urethra is there in the penis, the male copulatory organ called as penis. That so sequence will come like this: vas deferens along with the seminal vesicle. Along with the seminal vesicle, the ducts of seminal vesicle, they form the ejaculatory duct. Ejaculatory duct along with the ureters, ducts of urinary bladder, that going to form urethra. Urethra after taking ducts from prostate gland and Cowper gland. So the text diagram is there with you. Just you watch it. That you need to go through that information with diagram. So what diagram you need to watch, that I am showing here. That duct wise, the first diagram is the better one. Examination wise, this is the diagram we need to draw. This is the diagram you need to draw in examination, IPE examination. Okay, after all learning this, let's try to check that information. We read it now. The vas deferens or ductus referens is a long, narrow muscular tube. So the okay, that all we know, that vas deferens and duct of seminal vesicle. This is the vas deferens and the duct of seminal vesicle unite to form a short ejaculatory duct. That only I have shown to you. Ductus ejaculatory. The two sides of ejaculatory ducts carrying spermatozoa and the fluid secreted by the seminal vesicle converge the center of prostate and open into the urethra. That's it. So for these particular lines only we paid effort till the time. Okay. So that's it about the passage. And as we have seen, the passage is now entered into the urethra. Okay. So before we read the penis, the issues of the penis, so I'll go with that. The urethra is running through the penis, no doubt about that. So the male copulatory organ penis, that we need to see some issues about the penis. The penis is bulge at the tip. We say glans penis. The bulging of the penis at the tip is said to be glans penis. The loose skin sheath which surrounds the penis is said to be prepuce. The loose skin sheath which surrounds the penis is said to be prepuce. The terminology continues. We have so many terms. Okay, so when we see the transverse section of the penis, there are two columns of corpora cavernosa and one column of corpus spongiosum. So let me label. These two are said to be corpora cavernosa. Connective tissue columns these are. That filled with connective tissue. The two columns of corpora cavernosa and one column of corpus spongiosum. One column of corpus spongiosum. Then our said urethra is traveling from here itself. That urethra, this is urethra. Urethra is traveling through corpus spongiosum. Okay. So then these connective tissue spaces, when they are filled with the blood, when the connective tissue spaces are filled with the blood, the penis become that erectile and can make the ejaculation process to produce when that makes the ejaculation of the sperms into the vagina of a female. Okay, let's check. Let's read that the same things here. The penis and the scrotum constitute of the male external genitalia. The penis serves as a urinal duct because urethra is going through them, and also an intromittent organ. Intromittent organ, the mean that transfer the spermatozoa into the vagina of a female. The human penis is made up of three columns of tissue. That's what I shown now to you. The two columns of corpora cavernosa and one column of the corpus spongiosum. The two corpora cavernosa, the dorsal side, that I'll show you once again. These are the two columns of corpora cavernosa and one column of corpus spongiosum on the ventral side. Then skin as a subcutaneous layer that enclose all the three columns. The corpora cavernosa consists of special tissue with the spaces that are filled with the blood. They help in the erection of the penis to facilitate the insemination, release of semen along with the sperm. The enlarged and bulbous end of the penis is called glans penis, is covered by a loose fold of skin, foreskin, is called prepuce. The urethra travels through the corpus spongiosum, which we just talked about it now, and its opening is called urethral meatus, lies at the tip of the glans penis, lies at the tip of glans penis. So let me complete this by showing that in the diagram. That in the first diagram, as we are seeing here, now you see here, this is running down, this is running down. So that urethra is traveling through the corpus spongiosum, and there you can see the prepuce and the glans penis also. So this is a total story. Here in this diagram, they shown the two columns of corpora cavernosa, these two pink lines, the two columns of corpora cavernosa, and one column of corpus spongiosum. Okay, so that's it. That's about the information about the male reproductive system. We'll continue with the male reproductive system. The next class is spermatogenesis, production of sperms and accessory reproductive organs. We need to discuss that along with accessory reproductive organs is spermatogenesis and structure of sperm. We are going to make a new in the next class.